My beloved, there is something you have not fully said, even to yourself. You have called this season exhaustion. You have called it responsibility. You have called it just a lot right now. But I know what sits beneath those words. I see the ache you keep folding away before anyone can touch it. I see the sorrow rising in you as you care for the ones who once cared for you. And I tell you now, you are not only carrying tasks, you are carrying grief. You, the one who has been carrying too much, have become like a bridge stretched between two cliffs, love pulling from one side, duty pulling from the other, and your soul trembling in the middle. Everyone feels how strong you are. Few feel how tired you have become. I know the weight in your chest when your day begins. Before your body is ready, I know the fear that slips in when you notice another small change, another forgotten detail, another sign that time is moving in one direction and you cannot call it back. I know what it does to you to stay steady on the outside while something inside you keeps going quiet. Dear soul, what has been draining you is not only the work. It is the heartbreak of watching strength fade in the people who once felt unshakable to you. It is the pain of becoming the helper when part of you still longs to be held. It is the loneliness of standing in a room full of needs while no one notices your spirit is growing thin. And there is more, weary heart. There is guilt tangled through your love. Guilt when you sit down. Guilt when you feel irritated. Guilt when you cannot do one more thing. Guilt when you want a moment with no demands. Guilt even now, because part of you is already grieving people who are still here. You have judged yourself for that grief, but I have not. I know the difference between a hard heart and a hurting one. You thought you were just tired, but the deeper wound is this. This season has been quietly taking pieces of you, your ease, your softness, your sense of who you are when you are not needed by everyone else. Like a path disappearing under fog, your own self has become harder for you to find. But I have never lost sight of you. I know what this burden has been teaching your mind in the dark. I know the lies forming under the pressure, and I know the place in you that is breaking without sound. I will speak to that place. And before I heal what has been breaking inside you, I will first show you that I have seen it all. I see how your mornings begin before your feet ever touch the floor. Your eyes open, and before the room is fully clear, the weight is already there. Who needs to be called? What needs to be handled? Which message you may have missed in the night? Whether today will bring another small change you are not ready to face. You reach for your phone before you reach for peace, because part of you has learned that rest can be interrupted at any moment. I know how you measure the day, not by how you feel, but by who needs what from you first. A child, a parent, a schedule, a bill, a form, a ride, a prescription, a mood, a decision no one else wants to make. And while your hands keep moving from one need to the next, your own heart is left standing in the hallway, waiting quietly, unattended again. You have become skilled at sounding steady. I see the calm voice you use on the phone when your mind is already crowded. I see the practical smile in the kitchen. I see the quick answer when someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you say, "I'm fine," because the truth would take too long, and you do not have the strength to explain a pain that has no simple shape. Inside, it feels like a house with too many rooms on fire, and still you are trying to carry water with bare hands. Dear soul, I see the moments no one else is present for. The tears that come in the car because it is the only place with a door closed long enough for your face to fall. The silence after everyone has gone to sleep, when the noise of the day drains out and the truth gets louder. The way you sit still for one moment too long and feel how tired you really are. The way you look at your parents' face and try not to react to what has changed. The pause in your chest when they repeat the same story. The ache when they move more slowly. The private grief that rises when you hear weakness in a voice that once made you feel safe. I know this sorrow. It is grief in pieces, not one clean loss, but many quiet losses, arriving before the final one ever comes. A forgotten name, an unsteady step, a look of confusion, the fading of independence, the fragile truth that time is moving, and no amount of love can force it to stand still. You are mourning in fragments, weary heart, and that kind of mourning is heavy because the world rarely makes room for it. People know how to speak to sudden grief. Few know how to speak to the slow kind. So you carry that too. I see what this has done to your inner life. Some days you feel tender. Some days you feel nothing. Some days you are patient until you are suddenly not, and then shame rushes in behind your frustration. You hate the sharpness in your own tone. You replay small moments after they pass. You wonder why compassion feels harder to reach when you need it most. And then another fear comes quietly, that you are becoming empty in places where you used to feel full. I have not looked away from any of it. I saw you when you kept going. I saw you when you swallowed your frustration. I saw you when you felt cruel for wanting one quiet hour. I saw you when you broke where no one could hear you. I saw the guilt when you sat down. I saw the guilt when you felt annoyed. I saw the guilt when part of you wanted to disappear for just one afternoon and not be needed by anyone. I saw the thoughts you judged before they even became words. The fear that you are not doing enough. The fear that you are doing all you can and it still will not be enough. The fear of losing them. The fear of losing yourself while they are still here. My beloved, I have been with you in the waiting rooms, in the errands, in the late night thoughts, in the small breaking moments you hide even from those closest to you. I have never forgotten you. Not once. Not in the practical hour. Not in the bitter hour. Not in the numb hour. Not in the hour when love felt more like weight than warmth and that frightened you. I know what this season has cost you, even where you have not found words for it yet. And because I have seen what this season has done to your heart, I will now uncover the lies that pain has been whispering to you. My beloved, pain does not always arrive shouting. Sometimes it speaks softly, patiently, until its voice begins to sound like your own. That is what has been happening here. Not because you are faithless, not because you are weak, but because duty and grief have been living in the same room. And when they stay together too long, they begin to shape the air you breathe. So listen to what sorrow has been teaching you. It has told you that if you cannot carry everyone, you are failing. It has told you that your needs are selfish, that your limits are disappointing, that rest must be earned and softness must be postponed. It has told you that if you stop holding everything together, everything will fall apart. It has told you that no one sees what this is costing you. And because no one sees it fully, perhaps it does not matter fully. These are lies. You are right that this season is heavy, but you are wrong to call yourself weak because it hurts. Weight is meant to be felt. Strain is not shame. The fact that this has pressed deeply into you does not mean you are failing. It means you have been carrying more than most people know. You are right that people depend on you, but you are wrong to believe your worth only lives in what you provide. You have begun to measure yourself by usefulness, by steadiness, by how much of your own heart you can set aside without breaking the day for someone else. But I did not create you to be loved only when you are useful. I did not name you beloved only on the days you perform well. You are right that something is being lost, but you are wrong to think I am absent from that loss. I have been with you in every small goodbye. I have been with you in the repeated story, the slower step, the look that unsettled you, the silence that came after. Grief is not proof of my distance. Often, it is where I am nearest. Dear soul, love has been confused in your mind. You have started to believe that love must always look like depletion, that faithfulness means endless surrender, that holiness means never reaching the edge of yourself, but love is not proven by your collapse. And sacrifice without limit is not the highest form of devotion when it teaches you to disappear. You have also believed another lie, quieter but crueler, that your frustration makes you unloving, that your numbness makes you cold, that your exhaustion means something is wrong in your spirit. But I know what is true. Exhaustion is not proof of spiritual failure. It is proof that you are human, dear heart, and that you have been carrying much for a long time. Pain has become like a cracked mirror before you. You stand in front of it and see something real, because the strain is real, the tiredness is real, the grief is real. But the mirror is damaged, so it cannot tell the whole truth. It takes what is true and twists what it reflects. It shows you a woman who is only useful, never cherished, only needed, never held, only responsible, never precious. And if you keep staring into that broken glass, you will begin to call distortion by the name of identity. There is a deeper lie under all of this. I know it well. It says, if I were better, kinder, holier, stronger, I would not feel this overwhelmed. But that is not wisdom. That is cruelty wearing a sacred mask. You do not need to become less human to be more loved by me. You do not need to feel less to be faithful. You do not need to bleed quietly to prove that your heart is pure. The lies grow loud in seasons like this because you are tired, and tired minds are more vulnerable to false names. When duty is constant and grief is unfinished, fear begins to write its own story. But I am not letting fear name you. So listen carefully now, because I am about to speak over you with a truth stronger than the fear that has been shaping your thoughts. I declare this over you, my beloved. Your value has never come from how much pressure you can absorb without trembling. It has never come from how many emergencies you can manage, how many fragile people you can steady, or how calmly you can carry pain without letting it show. It is settled. Your worth does not rise when you perform well, and it does not fall when you feel worn thin. I named you precious before this season ever asked anything from you. And hear me clearly. The pain is real. I do not call it small. I do not call it weakness. But it is not proof that I have abandoned you, and it is not proof that you are failing. Pain can be real without being a verdict. Weariness can be real without becoming your identity. Grief can be real without meaning you have been left alone in it. I am not measuring you the way fear has measured you. I am not counting how flawlessly patient you remain. I am not standing over you with a record of every tired tone, every delayed response, every private thought you felt ashamed to have. I am not asking you to be endlessly available in order to be worthy of my tenderness. I am not demanding emotional perfection before I come near. I have come near already. Remember Martha. Many have spoken of her as if her story began and ended with busyness. But I saw deeper than that. I saw a woman carrying the invisible pressure of holding the moment together. I saw the burden beneath the movement. I saw the tension in the one who felt that if she did not keep serving, something important would fall apart. My gaze was not cold toward her. It was full of understanding. I did not expose her to shame her. I called her back to peace because I saw how burden had crowded her heart. I see you the same way. You are not merely busy. You are carrying emotional weight that few people know how to name. You are trying to love well while standing inside a season that keeps asking more than it returns. You are tending to people who once made you feel protected, and now you are watching time touch them in ways that break something open inside you. Heaven does not look at that sorrow casually. I know what it is to see your heart ache in silence while your hands keep moving. I know what it costs to care for those who once cared for you. And remember the widow in Zarephath. She was already depleted when I met her, need already stretched, already down to what felt like almost nothing. I did not wait for abundance to appear before my care drew near. I met her in scarcity. I sustained her where survival felt thin. Let that speak to you now. My compassion does not arrive after you become stronger. My provision does not begin after you have gathered yourself perfectly. I meet people in the narrow place. I speak life in the almost empty place. I remain God in the place where you feel you have little left. So I declare this over you, weary heart. You are not loved for how well you hold everything together. You are loved because you are mine. I have decided that fear will not have final authority over the meaning of this season. I have decided that guilt will not be the loudest voice over your mind. I have decided that the story being written in your hidden places will not end in depletion alone. Light is already pressing against this darkness, even if you have not yet seen the whole path. What feels like fog to you is not fog to me. I know where the road is. I know where your strength has thinned. I know where grief has cut deeply, and I tell you again, none of it has removed you from my sight. It is settled. You are seen in this burden. You are not condemned by this burden. You are not forgotten inside it. Now that truth has been spoken over your burden, let me show you what healing looks like in a season that has not fully changed yet. My beloved, healing does not begin when you pretend this burden is smaller than it is. It begins when you stop speaking of your pain as if it were a minor thing, when you stop calling deep strain just a busy season, when you stop treating the ache in your soul as if it should have asked permission before becoming this heavy. I see what you have carried. I know how long you have carried it. And I do not ask you to heal by denying what has wounded you. Healing is not forgetting. It is not erasing. It is not forcing your heart to act untouched while life has pressed hard against it. Healing is learning to see this season through my eyes instead of through guilt alone. Guilt says you should have done more, felt less, needed nothing. But I tell you the truth. Your tears are not failure. They are love meeting mortality. They are proof that your heart is alive. You are right that love asks much of you, but you are wrong to believe love requires your disappearance. I am teaching you to love without abandoning yourself completely. I am loosening the lie that says every need must become your assignment. Every crisis, your responsibility. Every silence, your burden to fill. Love can be deep without becoming self-erasure. This matters. I know the strain in your finances, the quiet calculations, the worry you carry over bills, care, time, and what the future may demand. I am with you there. I am not absent from the numbers, the pressure, the stretching, the decisions made with too little margin. I am teaching your heart not to measure safety by control alone. I remain your provider, even in the narrow place. You are not alone in the pressure. I know the weariness in your body too, the kind that sleep does not fully touch, the tired muscles, the tight chest, the mind that keeps running after the house grows quiet. I see the emotional exhaustion that sits under your skin and makes even simple things feel harder than they should. I am not condemning your limits. I am drawing you back to them. Because limits are not a betrayal of love. They are part of being human. Rest is not rebellion. I know the tension in your family, the unspoken resentment, the uneven sharing of responsibility, the moments when you feel surrounded and still unsupported. I see the relationships that have become strained under stress, and I see the unhealthy patterns that have taught you to stay useful instead of honest. I am working truth into those places. I am teaching you where compassion ends and overcarrying begins. I am teaching your voice to return. This is part of healing, and I know what has happened to your sense of purpose. Work, duty, caregiving, and survival have all blurred together until you barely remember what it feels like to move through a day with joy instead of management. But I have not lost the deeper thread of your life. I am not reducing you to the role you are holding right now. There is still a self beneath the pressure. There is still calling beneath the fatigue. I am guarding it, dear soul. Your heart has been like a lamp burning through the night with no oil added. You kept offering light. You kept staying awake. You kept pouring warmth into other people's dark hours. But lamps were never meant to burn endlessly without being refilled. Healing includes receiving. Healing includes being tended to. Healing includes bringing me the empty place instead of hiding it from me. This is why my son called the weary to come to him while they were still burdened. Not after they had composed themselves. Not after they had become less tired, less emotional, less complicated. He called them while they were carrying it. I call you the same way now. Come to me with the tears, with the numbness, with the loneliness that even family cannot reach, with the spiritual dryness you feel ashamed to admit. I am not waiting for a polished version of your heart. I meet you here. So do not be afraid of honest prayer. Do not be afraid of tears. Do not be afraid to tell me that this season hurts. I already know, and I have never turned away from the truth in you. And even if this healing feels slower than you hoped, do not mistake slow healing for absent mercy. So hold on, dear soul. This is the kind of season where many begin to disappear inside themselves. Not all at once, quietly. They stop feeling because feeling costs too much. They go numb because numbness feels easier than grief. They begin to believe there is nothing left inside worth protecting. I know that temptation. I have seen it brushing against your thoughts in the lonely hours. But do not surrender your inner life just because duty has taken so much of it. Do not let caregiving become the grave of your own heart. You are tired in body, tired in spirit, tired of deciding, adjusting, caring, watching, anticipating, tired in places that no sleep fully reaches, tired of being needed while your own soul feels increasingly hard to reach. I know this weariness. I have been with you in it. But hear me clearly. Exhaustion is not permission to abandon yourself. You have come too far. You have cried too many hidden nights. You have held on through too much silent weight to stop here. Some of the darkest thoughts come when a soul is closest to laying down false strength and reaching for true help. That is why this moment matters. When guilt grows louder, when love begins to feel heavy, when hope feels thin, you must not believe that everything living in you is dying. This season may feel like winter at the roots, but roots are not dead because blossoms are not visible yet. Much is still alive beneath what looks bare. Much is still being held beneath what feels cold. Hold on when the day feels too full. Hold on when guilt starts shouting. Hold on when love feels heavy. Hold on when you cannot yet see what I am restoring. My beloved, I am not asking you to pretend to be strong. I am calling you not to let go of what is still sacred inside you. Your tenderness, your ability to receive, your inner voice, your capacity to hope. These have been pressed, but they are not gone. I have never forgotten where your true self still lives beneath the strain. And one day, the road you are walking now will become light for someone else. One day, another weary daughter will hear your story and realize she is not weak, not failing, not alone. Your survival will speak. Your honesty will comfort. Your scars will not be wasted. So stay with me here. Do not shut down now. Do not turn your heart to stone just to make it through. I am nearer than your numbness, stronger than your fear, and faithful in this unfinished place. And while you hold on, let me remind you of who you are, beneath the exhaustion, beneath the role, and beneath the fear. You are not only the one who manages. You are not only the one who remembers. You are not only the one who endures. You have worn those names for so long that they began to feel like your whole identity. But they are not the deepest truth about you. They are roles you have carried. They are not the name I gave your soul. You are seen, not only in what you do, but in what you feel. I see the part of you that has gone quiet, the part that keeps showing up while secretly wondering if anyone notices the cost. I do. I always have. You are loved. Not because you stayed useful, not because you kept the family moving, not because you were patient on the hardest days. You are loved because my love does not begin with your performance. It begins with my heart. You are known. I know who you were before this season made you tired. I know the tenderness in you that pressure could not erase. I know the self beneath the strain, the woman beneath the weight, the daughter beneath the duties that keep piling at her feet. You are not forgotten. The world may move quickly around faithful people and rarely stop to ask what they are carrying, but I do not pass by you that way. I have never looked at your silent service and called it invisible. I have never once mistaken your quiet pain for insignificance. You are held. Even now. Even in the moments when you feel emotionally thin, spiritually dry, or too weary to pray with beautiful words, you are not standing alone in some cold field, trying to survive by your own strength. My hand is under what feels like it is giving way. You are mine, not as an employee of duty, not as a machine for other people's needs, not as a hallway everyone passes through on their way to relief. You are not a space people use and leave behind. You are a soul I created with care, with weight, with sacred worth. You belong to me before you belong to any demand this life places on you. My beloved, this is the wound beneath so much of your exhaustion. Somewhere along the way, you began to believe your life existed only in response to other people's needs. If someone was hurting, you stepped in. If something was missing, you filled it. If something was breaking, you tried to hold it together. And slowly, without even meaning to, you began to disappear from your own understanding of yourself. But I do not call you by the names Burton gave you. I think of Hagar in the wilderness, distressed and alone, carrying sorrow in a place where she could easily have believed she had been cast aside. Yet I saw her there. I met her there. I revealed myself to her not as a distant force, but as the God who sees. That has not changed. I see you in your wilderness too. I see you in the lonely places where responsibility has made you feel emotionally unseen. Dear soul, your tears matter to me. Your inner life matters to me. You are not loved only for what you hold together. You are loved as a daughter, a beloved daughter, one whose heart I take seriously, one whose weariness I do not dismiss, one whose life is more than service, more than survival, more than being strong for everyone else. So receive this now, not as poetry alone, but as a covering for your weary mind and aching heart.